Hey guys, welcome back. This is the eighth lecture of our web development using Chat, GPT, and Ruby on Rails. And in the last lecture, we saw how we can create view templates for our resource controller or for our model using Chat GPT. And we just prompted out GPT, and GPT given us all the templates, including the Bootstrap styles as well. Now, in this lecture, we will ask Chat GPT that how we can add search functionality using Ransack gem into our project, and ChatGPT will give us the response and will give us the steps to do that. Okay, so let's start by prompting on the ChatGPT. So first, we will ask to the ChatGPT that what is Ransack gem in Rails. Okay, what is Ransack gem in Rails? Okay, so this will give you the basic idea about the Ransack gem, like what it does and what facilities it provide and how it works. Okay, so here you can see that this is the basic details about the Ransack gem, that it is a popular library used in Ruby on Rails application for providing advanced search capabilities and so on. And you can just go through the response. Okay, now we will ask ChatGPT that I want to implement search functionality using Ransack gem. Can you please show me the steps of it? Okay, so let's prompt the question. I want to implement the Ransack gem. Sorry, I want to implement the search functionality using Ransack gem in my Rails application. Can you please give me the steps to do that? Can you please give me the steps to do that? Okay. And when you submit this question, it will give you the steps to do the search for your application. So here you can see that how you can follow these steps to include the Ransack gem in your application. So you can see first you need to install the gem. So you can add Ransack gem to gem file and run bundle install. So you can use gem Ransack and then generate the search form. So this is how you can generate the search form for your application for your resource searching. Okay, and then you need to modify the index section of your respective controller where you want to redirect after searching. Okay, or with searching, and then you need to display the results on the browser. Okay, so now what we can do, that we will ask ChatGPT that since ChatGPT given us the steps to include the or use the Ransack gem into our project, now we will go specifically that we will tell ChatGPT that I have employees model with these attributes. I mean, we will list the attribute names, and then we will ask ChatGPT that I want to implement Ransack jar for the employee model. Can you help me, or can you please provide me the steps? How can I do that using search form? So Ransack will, the ChatGPT will give us the response with the appropriate form. Okay. So first go to the terminal, and then here you can see that I have these attributes. Okay, if you do not have the terminal open, then you can find all the attributes of the employee model, and then you can ask ChatGPT to create the search form for it. Okay, but here you can see I have first name, last name, email, contact number, address, pin code, and so on. Okay, so what I will do, that I will use these attributes. Okay, I will not use the ID and created it, updated it. However, if you wish, you can do that thing as well. Okay. So let's call these attributes and prompt to the chat GPT that I have an employee model with following attributes. Can you please help me to implement search using Ransack for this employee model? Okay, and when you submit this question, ChatGPT will give you the exact steps with appropriate search form. Okay, and with the correction that, or with the modification that you need to do into the index section of your employees controller and so on. Okay, so now what we can do, that we can just go to the steps. Okay, so first what we need to do, that here you can see install the Ransack gem. Okay, so what we need to do, first we need to make sure that Ransack gem is in our gem file. So you can go to the first step here. Here you can see gem Ransack. So just copy this line And then what you need to do, open the project directory and open the gem file. Now in the gem file, what you need to do, add this gem, Ransack gem. Okay, and then you need to install the bundle, because whenever you add a new gem into your gem file, okay, you need to run the bundle store. Here you can see, first make sure to have added the Ransack gem to gem file and run bundle install as mentioned earlier, I mean in the previous response. Okay, so just go to the terminal. Okay, and into the new tab, what you need to do, bundle install. Okay, and when you run the bundle install, it will install the Ransack gem into your gem file. Here you can see fetching Ransack 4.1.1. Okay, now we need to follow the other steps mentioned on the chat GPT. So here you can see generate the search form. So we need to create a search form where user can input their search criteria. You can create a form using form Rails helper. So here it is created search form for at the rate q for f and so on. So what we need to do, we will just copy this form. Okay, or yeah, just copy this form and come to the index page or index.html.trb. Okay, and here before the employee list, what we will do, we will paste this search form. Okay, and now just properly indent it, and then sorry, make it cancel. And then here the third step, that you need to set up your controller action just accordingly this. Okay, so what we can do, we can just copy this we can just copy this entire part, and now go to the employees controller, and then replace the existing index section by the provided modified method from the chat gpt. Okay, now save this and then go to the terminal. Okay, so I think we might need to start the server. So since we just added a new gem, so we need to start the server as well. So just go to the server terminal where the server is running and restart your real server, and now you need to refresh your page. Okay, so you can see that we are still seeing error, and this error will not be suggested by the chat gpt. Why? Because chat gpt has the limitation, since it is the updated data after December, September 2021. Okay, after if there are any changes, then in the free version you cannot see that. So we need to fix this error manually without using the chat gpt. Okay, so what we can do, we can just copy this method. Okay, and then go to the employee.rb, and in the employee.rb we need to paste this here. Okay, and now you can remove updated it and created it. So let's remove this, and then you can remove the created it as well. Okay, save this and now go to the browser and refresh your page. When you refresh your page, you will see a search form like this. So here you can see that we have first name is John. So when we search with John, and when we click on the search button, you will see that we are getting this result. Now let's type Ravi, and when you click on search, you will see no employees found. That means there is no data exist with this name. Okay, but you can see that this search form looks very ugly. So you can remove that and now place the search. You can see that this search form looks like very ugly. So what we can ask ChatGPT, that add the bootstrap style in this search form. So go to the ChatGPT, and here what we can do, can you please add bootstrap 5 styles to this search form. When you submit this, it will give you a styled form. Okay, so my purpose here is just to only show you that you can see that we are getting work our done very faster. Okay, I mean our work done very faster. We don't have to do the basic things manually right now. We can use chat gpt, and chat gpt will help us. So here you can see that it has given us the values like form like that. Okay, so and it is now showing you that add other fields similarly. Okay, so now if you want to do some manual work, you can do that, or we can ask chat gpt that can you please convert the entire form, please give me the entire search form with bootstrap 5 style. Okay, so now when you search this, then ChatGPT will will add Bootstrap style into your search form for every field. Okay, now let me show you the difference between this prompt and the previous prompt. Okay, so let's finish this response generation. Okay, so here you can see that it has created that. Now you can see that when we just asked to ChatGPT that can you please add Bootstrap 5 style to the search form, so what does prompt mean? That ChatGPT has converted some basic some fields to the Bootstrap style, and then it is telling us that we can add other fields similarly. Okay, and in the next prompt, what we did, that we asked ChatGPT to do the Bootstrap styling for the entire search form. Okay, so we don't want to do any manual work right now. Okay, so what we can do, that now we can just copy the search form. Okay, and then replace the existing search form with this one. You can remove that and then just paste it, correct the indentation. So you just need to yeah, you need to correct the indentation like that. And now if you go to the browser where the server is running or a project is running and you replace the page, you can see that it is now showing a very better Bootstrap form to search everything. So here you can see that first name, last name, email, and you can see that date of birth, from, and to. It has two different matches for the date of birth and date of hiring. So what we can check here, that go to the search form, and here you can see that it has uses LTEQ, that means less than and equal to, GTEQ, that means greater than and equal to. Okay, and now if you wish, you can ask ChatGPT to explain the entire search form. So let's ask that go to the ChatGPT screen, and we will ask ChatGPT that can you please explain the search form along with all the measures you used. Okay, and when you submit this prompt, it will explain you the entire thing. Okay, so let's finish the response generation and then we will go with that. So let's finish that first, because it takes some time to, yeah, so it is done now. So now what we can do, we can just go through this response, that search form structure. This search form is built using the search form for helper provided by the Ransack. So whenever you implement a search form for Ransack gem, you need to use search form helper. Okay, and it is provided by the Ransack gem. Now in the next step, what you can see, that what is at the rate q here. So this is an instance of Ransack search representing the search query. Okay, and it is the HTML, that is it option adds the Bootstrap classes for styling or whatever HTML attributes, like for example, let's say class, ID, data attribute. If you want to add that, you can do that. And these are the methods used in the Ransack form. Okay, and what are the methods? So methods are used in Ransack to specify how the search should be performed on a particular attribute. Here is a breakdown of methods used in this search form. So it has used contains, that means this method searches for records where the specified attribute contains the given value. For example, t dot text field first name cont. Okay, and then it generates the input field for searching first name attribute where the value contains the specified string or whatever you fill in that particular search field. Okay, and then GTEQ, LTEQ, okay, not EQ, EQ. So there are a lot of methods provided by the Ransack, but few of them we have used in the search form, and here the chat GPT is explaining how what these methods are doing in the search form. Okay, so this is how we can implement the search form using chat GPT and Ransack. Okay, and one more thing that I want to mention explicitly here, that you can see that we need to do that step manually. So whenever you add Ransack gem and add a search form, you will, if you do not, if you forget to add that, then you don't have to worry about that error, because Rails will automatically display this information on the browser, and then you can include that. And what does it mean? That you need to specify the attributes of the model that you want to search upon. Okay, for example, if you want to search upon address, then you need to mention the address here. And if you want to search upon the first name only, last name only, then you need to mention it here as well. Okay, so that is how the search will work. Okay, so that's all from this lecture. Now, in the next lecture, we will tell ChatGPT to show us how we can use Fakergen to populate dummy data for our employee model, so that we can use the CSV generation or CSV exporting or XLS exporting for the employee data in upcoming lectures. Okay. So meanwhile, follow this lecture and we will meet into the next lecture. Until then, Tata, goodbye, take care and stay safe.